Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, this is part one of a three-part video series. We're gonna make the cure and rinse the bacon today. The next video will be smoking and slicing the bacon. And the third video is the culmination of this project, which is a collaboration with a bunch of other YouTubers called Better with Bacon, where we're gonna make some fantastic bacon-wrapped cheeseburger onion rings. We're gonna smoke them. Should be dynamite. Please watch this video and tune in for parts 2 and 3, which will be coming over the next week. Thanks for watching. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Ben's Ramblings.
I'll do it.
Okay, you
Hello,
do it.
I'll do it first. Hello and welcome to Nathan's Ramblings. Recipes, reviews, and ramblings. Today we're making what?
Today we're making bacon.
Today we're making a piece of bacon.
Not a piece. We're making 11 pounds of bacon.
We're making 11 pounds of bacon.
And we're gonna do it 3 ways. We're gonna do one unsweetened, one with some brown sugar, and one with brown sugar and maple syrup. Doesn't that sound yummy? I've got 2 pork bellies here I got from Costco.
Look.
They are both 11 pounds. I'm gonna take this one and use it for the bacon because the thickness is the most consistent.
It's thick.
And what?
It's kind of like slime.
No, it's not kind of like slime. Because curing, we calculate the amount of time things need to be cured by how thick they are. We are going to pick the most evenly or most consistent thickness for our bacon. The other pork belly, I'm just gonna cut up into 4 sections to use for other...
I want to help you make the bacon.
You're gonna help me. So the other pork belly, we're gonna cut up into just 4 pieces, and we're gonna use that for other recipes. I'm gonna just cut it up, put it in the vacuum sealer, and it'll go in the freezer for now. All right, now that I've got that other pork belly cut up, I'm gonna cut this into 3 equal pieces. I want them to each be a little over 3 pounds, so we're 11 pounds, it should be about 3.3 pounds. I know I'm saying pounds, but we're gonna end up doing measurements for this cure in grams. And we are going to do something called an EQ cure. It's a dry cure. All right, so here's our 11-pound pork belly. Again, this one is very consistent for the most part across the thickness from side to side and one end to the other. I'm gonna approximate thirds of this, and then we will weigh them and I'll calculate our measurements for our cure. Here are our 3 slabs. I'm going to...
Are you going to measure them?
Yeah, we're going to weigh them. Okay? Because Daddy needs to get measurements. I've got a notepad here. The calculations for the cure are very important. So I've got a notepad here. I've made a note of the left one is for salt, the middle section is for brown sugar, and the right side is for brown sugar and maple. I've got my scale here. Again, we are going to measure in grams. I'm going to make sure it's not resting on anything. And we are going to 0. And I'll just double check that the 0 is accurate by taking the tray off and putting it back on. So, the left belly is 1,650 grams, actually 1,649. Okay. Now we'll put this tray on. We will 0 it. This middle section is 1,750 grams. And the right piece of pork belly is 1,599, almost 1,600 grams. So I'm gonna go use a calculator to calculate our measurements for all of these. For the maple syrup, I'm just gonna take a quarter to a half a cup and add that to the bag after we put the dry rub on it. The other ingredients you'll see when I show you this, when I do the screen recording, you'll see the screen and the measurements as we go along. This is the EQ Cure calculator at Digging Dog Farms. I'm putting in the weight for the first belly, which is all salt, no sugar. You'll notice I set sugar to 0%. So those are our measurements that we need. The next one we'll do the brown sugar. And I add 1% sugar. You can adjust the sugar and salt percent, but you do not want to mess with the cure percentage. That's not the cure by weight. It takes into account the amount of the actual nitrate in the prog powder number 1. This is a cure for the maple syrup. And what I should have done is what I'm about to do, which is add the weight of the maple syrup into the weight of the meat as a liquid to get the full cure calculation. So I used a half a cup of maple syrup. That's 3 ounces. It's about 170 grams. So you'll see here I'm going to add 170 grams. Once I add the 170 grams, then I get the actual cure numbers for the maple brown sugar belly. And there it is. I've got my calculations and I'm going to get weighing. I switched back to my more accurate scale. I've got my Prague powder. This is cure number 1. I will have a link to this down below. You do not need a lot of this. I've had this container of Prague powder for years. It doesn't go bad, obviously. It's a cure. It is a preservative. I've got kosher salt. For the ones that have sugar, I have some brown sugar. And I've got maple syrup. For the first one, which we are not doing any sugar on, the mixture is 4.12 grams of Prague powder number 1. Okay. So this scale is very sensitive. It does go out to 2 decimal places. You'll see. For each time I use a cure, I'm going to use this bowl and mix the ingredients in there. Put it back on here. Make sure we're back to 0. And we need 29.14 grams of salt. So we're going to use kosher salt. I know you can't see the measurement there. We're up to 18 grams, 21, 23 and a half. Again, we're trying to get to just a hair over 29, up to 28, oh, 29 and a little too much, 29.14. So, I'm going to pour that in there. We will mix this all around, get it good mixed up. I'm going to take a Ziploc bag, a gallon Ziploc freezer bag. I'm going to take my pork belly and put it right in there, which of course it's not cooperating with me. Now, perfect, it just fits in these gallon bags. And then we are going to take this mixture and rub it all over the pork belly. So I'm going to sprinkle it all over. It does not look like much. You can see I took only a pinch out of here so far. There is not much in there. And for, 3.5 pound pork belly or so, it's really not a heck of a lot. Now, I'm not going to put much on the fat side. The fat side does not absorb much of the cure. So I'm trying to keep one hand clean here and one hand touching the pork. So I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of the cure there, and then I'll rub it with the other hand. And I'm not too worried about getting this exactly everywhere, because what is going to happen is we are going to put this downstairs in the spare fridge, and it's going to sit there for about 14 days. Basically, the idea is you want about a day per 1/4 inch of thickness. This pork belly is a little over 2 inches thick, so at a minimum, we'd want 8 days. You always want to add an extra 2 days. So 8 days, we're looking at 10, and I'm probably going to let it go a few more. So just to be safe. And then we're going to hot smoke this over fruit wood. So I will pour the rest of that cure in there, and then I'll grab it, and I want to get the sides. And the main thing to do is that once this is in the refrigerator, every single day you need to make sure that you flip it. It needs to get turned every single day so that as the juices come out of the meat, they come out evenly and then redistribute evenly, because with a 14-day cure, we will see the juices come out of the meat and then go back in. I will get the air out of this in a little while. I'm going to wash my hands and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, next one. This next one is the brown sugar cure. 17 grams of brown sugar. 17.5. All right, close enough. I've got the other one bagged already. Add a little bit on the fat side, and we will add most of it onto the meat side. Again, it does not look like a lot of rub. If you were rubbing, you know, a pork butt or something like that, it wouldn't have anywhere near this much, or it would have a lot more rub probably on it than this. But for what we're doing, this is perfect. All right, I will get that one sealed up, and we will make up the mixture for the third one. All right, last measurement. This is the maple. Okay, last piece we're going to add to this one is a half a cup of some grade A amber color. I wish I had some darker, but this will have to do because this is what I have. So I'm going to pour half a cup of maple syrup in with this last bag to cure. All right. And what I'll do with this is I will get this in the bag, zip the bag up, and then just kind of swish it around in the bag. Try to get most of the air out. Okay, so that's it, maple syrup. You can see that's what that looks like, the maple syrup in there. So we'll see how this goes. Again, 14 days these are going to go in the fridge. I'm going to put them on clean trays, and I will go every morning and flip these over. It's important you do that so that the cure is even. Otherwise, you'll get some parts that are very salty and not cured well, or very cured, and other parts that are not cured well at all. So, all right, we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today is the 27th. These bellies have been curing for 16 days. I'm going to rinse them off. We're going to dry them. I'm going to cut a little slice off of each. We're going to test how salty they are. If they're salty, we'll need to soak them, but I think they'll be okay with just a rinse. We're then going to put them on these racks and let them air dry in the fridge for a few hours. Ideally, I'd like to leave them overnight. I did not get to these last night, so I'm going to let them air dry for a few hours, and we'll smoke them this afternoon. I'm going to rinse them off camera, and we'll be back here in a minute to slice a piece off of each, and then we'll fry them up and see how they taste. All right, everything's rinsed off. We've got the plain salt, the salt and brown sugar, and the maple syrup belly. We're going to slice a little piece off of each one, and we will give them a try. We'll fry them up. This is my new 14-inch Mercer Culinary slicer. It's a super sharp knife right out of the package, really nice knife. A lot of recommendations on the makeandbacon.net. I'm sorry, the Make and Bacon group. There are a lot of recommendations for this knife on the Make and Bacon group on Facebook. So this is the one I picked up. $30 knife, super sharp. Everybody recommended it. Let's cut a little slice off and we'll fry them up. We'll start with the plain salt. Just try to kind of square it up a little bit here. And the belly's not super cold because I just rinsed it. So I'm just going to slice a piece off. It's going to be much easier to slice this once it's cold. Yeah, we'll take another slice off of that. All right. That is a nice looking piece of bacon. Obviously not smoked yet. We'll smoke it in a little while. And here's how I'm going to keep track. I will keep the whole pieces. I will keep the salt only as a single piece. I will take the brown sugar and I will make it into 2 pieces, and we'll make the maple into 3 pieces. Let's cut the end off here. Let's try to square it up a little bit, get this pieces off. And I'm trying to go thin. Again, if it was a little frozen, it'd be even easier to go thinner. Yeah, we do like the thick cut bacon. One more piece here. All right, there we go. That's the brown sugar. And I'm gonna just slice that in half so I can keep track. So I've got my brown sugar right there. My salt. These little scraps will fry up too, and then this is the maple. So this is maple, brown sugar, and salt. Again, I'm gonna try to cut off this odd end. And there's the maple. The maple's a little fattier at that end. Again, this was all the same 11-pound belly, and I'm just going to cut that into 3 pieces so I can keep track the smaller pieces of the maple. And we'll fry those up off camera, and I'll let you know how they turn out. Like I said, if they're too salty, we'll have to soak the bellies for a little while. You want to soak them about a half an hour to an hour at a time, and then you can cut off a piece and try it again and see how it is. Be back in a little bit. I fried up the pieces. Again, the little short pieces are the maple. The 2 medium-sized pieces are brown sugar, and the full-size piece is just the salt. Let's give it a try, see how it tastes. I don't think it's too bad, not salty at all. I think we're good. I'll try a little bit of each, but of course this isn't the finished taste because it is going to smoke for a few hours. And let's try the brown sugar. I like the taste of the brown sugar, that's pretty good. I'm not getting the maple so much. We'll have to see once it's smoked how it is. The plain just tastes like salted bacon. Not bad, obviously the smoke will add to that as well. I'll see you in a few hours. The belly's downstairs in the fridge. They're gonna dry out on the outside. That's gonna form a pellicle, which will help the smoke adhere to the meat or penetrate the meat. That'll do it for this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of other videos. Later this week, I'll have the smoking and slicing of this bacon, and we'll make an egg sandwich and give it a try. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.